This is how to loom knit a realistic owl hat, and this is what it looks like completed. And we're going to be making what I would call a medium size, where it'll fit an older child and as large as a woman's head. And you can do it in different kinds of yarn. This is wool. And you'll want to go ahead and E-wrap cast on 36 pegs and do 16 rows E-wrapping, and this is what it should look like. So I use 3 strands to get this kind of texture of yarn: a tan, brown, dark brown, and a gray, and you do it flat. And this is the bottom half, and you're going to divide your loom into basically 3 sections. You divide it in half, and then you divide it in half again, and the divided in half again is your front 2 sections. And with 36 pegs, that's 9, 18, and 9. So what you're going to do is you're going to E-wrap 9 pegs. And what we're doing is we're fixing to prep to start working the back of the hat where the crown starts. So we're fixing to create a curve to the back of the hat so that it'll fit around the head. Because you are working flat, this is what's going to allow it to fit around the head. So we're working at the back half of the hat, which is your 18 peg section. And what you're going to do is you're going to E-wrap 17, and you're going to stop. And the technique we're fixing to do is just like working the heel of a sock. Okay, now you want to wrap and turn the next peg, which is peg 18, and then you're going to E-wrap 16 pegs. Okay, and leave that one alone. Okay, now you're going to wrap and turn the next peg, and then E-wrap 15. Stopping before the wrap and turn. Go ahead and toss those bottom loops over. Don't touch that last wrap and turn. Okay, wrap and turn the next peg. and then E-wrap 14. You want to continue this process, turn until you get down to 4 pegs if you want the point. If you don't, go to 8 if you want a smooth crown area. So you want to go to 8 pegs if you want a smooth crown. If you want a nice point to the back, go down to 4, going back and forth until you have 4 pegs or 8 pegs with just one loop on them in between the wrap and turns. Let's go ahead and wrap and turn and E-wrap. Just before the next one, toss all of them over. While not touching your last wrap and turn. Wrap and turn and E-wrap. This is what it should look like when you're done with the wrap and turn. 4 pegs, as you can see, with single loops on them, and then the rest are double loops. Again, if you're wanting a smooth crown area, go to 8 rather than 4. So go ahead and E-wrap 5 pegs. And then E-wrap 6 pegs. And then you want to start E-wrapping from the last peg and then adding on a wrap and turn, and you want to keep doing this process until you have no more wrap and turn pegs, and you're back down to 1 loop on each peg. Again, wrap the one you just did and then wrap the next wrap and turn and toss all of them over, and do this until you're back to your 18 pegs with a single loop on them. And if this is confusing in any way, just think of it as doing a heel on a sock. When you're done, this is where the curve is, as you can see, and what we're fixing to do is start on the face area. So go ahead and E-wrap 9 pegs. And after you get done E-wrapping the 9 pegs, you'll have basically completed a row. Now we're going to do a ridge area on the side of the face of the owl. And if you reference the picture, you'll see what I'm talking about. And so we're going to create this ridge. And we're going to be working with the 9 pegs. And so what you're going to do is you're going to skip the first peg, and then you're going to E-wrap 8. Go ahead and E-wrap 8. Alright, now you want to skip peg 8 and then E-wrap 7 pegs. And then you want to E-wrap 7 pegs again. Skip peg 7 and E-wrap 6. E-wrap 6. Skip peg 6 and E-wrap 5. At this point you want to put your original loops back onto the pegs. So find your original line, which you'll see there, and then go to the following loop beside it and put it back on the peg. And you should start to see your line up. Now if you want to make this a little faster, instead of actually pulling up the actual loop that was originally on the peg, you can pull up the space beside it to put on there, and that makes it a little easier. You're just creating a fold that you don't have to sew. At this point you want to go in and E-wrap 18 pegs. Okay, and then go back to your original 9 and go ahead and toss over those bottom loops to get you back down to one loop on the 9 pegs you just did. Now what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to work the next 9 pegs here the exact same way you just did the other side. So you're going to E-wrap the 9 pegs, skip peg 9 and then E-wrap 8. And just continue this exactly the same way as we just did on the other side, just on this side. Go ahead and pause to complete this section. Pull your original loops back onto the pegs, like we did on the other side. There's your guide loop, so you know that that one goes on the peg. So go ahead and follow the line and pull those onto the pegs. Go ahead and toss the bottom loop over the top loop to get back down to one loop. You've now created a ridge on each side of the face, and so now you want to E-wrap 18 pegs. At this point you want to change color to the light tan color or your lighter color, and you want to E-wrap 9 pegs and toss the bottom loop over. At this point we're going to start creating the eye area where you'll eventually glue in your eyes. You basically just changed color and E-wrapped 9. So now you want to increase by 5. So wrap the next 5 pegs go ahead and push those loops down and then E-wrap 14. And toss the bottom loop over the top. And be careful not to toss the original loops on your increased pegs over, because you don't want to connect the sides of the hat. Just toss the tan bottom loop over the top, not the multicolor. Make sure you don't do this. So don't touch those on the increased pegs. You do, you'll connect in a place you don't want it. Okay, so go ahead and E-wrap 14 pegs again. Okay, you're going to skip the first one and you're going to internal decrease every other peg all the way across. and you should have a non-doubled peg on each end. At this point, you want to go in and you want to E-wrap all the pegs that have 10 loops on them. Don't E-wrap any of the pegs that are empty. Next, you'll want to bring all your loops together. And you'll want to put them back beside each other and bring them all together. Okay, so go ahead and tighten your loops because you don't want any space showing between your loops when you go to set up the eyes and sew them on and everything. So you want these loops to be tight after this decrease. Now you'll want to E-wrap 8 pegs. You'll want to E-wrap 8 pegs again. And you'll want to E-wrap 8 pegs again. Okay, you're going to skip the first one and decrease by every other peg again, just like you did previously. Leaving the end loops untouched. And you want to now E-wrap every peg that has a 10 loop on it. Toss the bottom loop over. Pick up the loops and bring them together and tighten your loops up like we just did. And go ahead and tighten your loops so that you don't have any holes showing up. Okay, go ahead and E-wrap 5 pegs. E-wrap 5 pegs again. And E-wrap 5 pegs again. Then you want to decrease by 1 from the end and again, so there's 2 decreases in there. E-wrap all the ones with a 10 loop on the peg. Bring the loops together and tighten them up. And E-wrap 3. decrease by 1 on each end, and pull all those 3 loops together, toss over, and then you'll want to snip your end and pull that end through. And you'll just completed your eye area, and it should be a triangle. You see the ridge and you see the triangle area you just completed. Now what you want to do is get your original colors back on, and then you want to E-wrap 18 pegs. You want to get to the other side to start on the other eye area, so go ahead and E-wrap 18 pegs with the original colors that you were using. Okay, go ahead and change to back to your light tan color and start your other eye area doing the exact same thing you just did previously with the other tan area. Okay, go ahead and E-wrap 9 pegs and then increase by 5 and E-wrap 14 pegs. Apologize for being out of screen at this point. Sometimes I miss it, but it's pretty simple E-wrap here, so just E-wrap the 9 pegs. Now you're going to increase by 5 pegs, push those down, and then you're going to E-wrap 14 pegs. And toss the bottom loops over. So go ahead and pause the video to complete your other eye area the exact same way you just did the first one. Okay, we have 2 eye areas done with the ridge beside them. And now what we want to do is we've already tied back on our original colors, and we're going to go in and we're going to E-wrap 18 pegs, and then we're going to increase by 9 back to our original kind of starting point. So go ahead and E-wrap the 18, toss the bottom loops over. And at this point we're going to increase by 9 to create the ridge that gives the shadow over the eye area. So go ahead and increase by 9. So that we can start working up our ridge that goes over the eye area. Now you want to E-wrap 27 pegs. Toss the bottom loop over. And then you want to increase by 9 pegs on the other side. And then you want to E-wrap 36 pegs. We're staying working flat. Okay, now you want to decrease by 1 on each end, on both sides, and then you want to E-wrap 34. Make sure you toss both loops over the top one on the decreased pegs. Now E-wrap 34 pegs. Now you want to decrease by 1 on each end again, and then you want to E-wrap 32 pegs. Okay, and then you wrap 32 pegs again. Okay, we're going to decrease by 1 on each end and then E-wrap 30. At this point, we're going to just keep decreasing by 1 on each end and then E-wrapping all the pegs until you're down to 6 pegs total. So keep decreasing by 1 on each end after E-wrapping all the pegs until you're down to a total of 6 total pegs left with loops on them. Let's go ahead and pause the video to complete your rows. At this point, you're going to change to the gray or black color to do the beak area. You can choose to do black to even make it more realistic. I chose to do gray. And now you want to just straight up E-wrap 3 rows with the gray. And here's row 2. And here's row 3. And row 4. Decrease by 1 on each end and then E-wrap 4 pegs. E-wrap 4 pegs for 3 rows at this point. So there's row 1, 2, and then go ahead and decrease by 1 on each end and E-wrap 2. Decrease by 1 and E-wrap those 2 together. Snip the end and pull through. I'm giving it a long tail because I want to sew the beak up first. So go ahead and pull that through. And you'll want want to sew the beak up first after you've already threaded your needle. And you should see a curve. At this point, we want to start sewing the eye area together, so go ahead and fold your ridge down, and then you can either choose to go ahead and sew it down first. You can go ahead and sew the ridge down first if you want, or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to be sewing the eye area and the ridge together at the same time. But again, you can sew the ridge area first down and then sew the eye area underneath the ridge where you've just sewn. It's whatever you're going to find is easier to do this. So, once you've got it nice and folded over the way you want, go ahead and stick your needle through that end. And then what I do is sew the ridge down, then add a piece of the eye area. So go ahead and stick the needle through a part of the eye area, and then a piece of the back part of the ridge, and then through the other end, where the fold down is, through the other end. Through the eye area, and through the fold over area. Through the eye, through the fold over area, through the eye, and the fold over area, and through the eye, and the fold over area. And your point is going to be in a section just an inch before the beak starts. That point is going to be sewn in there because you've created a kind of circular pattern to the eye area. So just keep sewing until you get to the end. And once you run out of the ridge area, kind of start sewing towards the back area of the edge to continue that kind of indentation for the eye area. And you want to repeat sewing up the other side the exact same way we just did. now that you've sewn up the eye areas and you can see the ridge, you can choose to crochet an edge, but if you choose to crochet an edge, go ahead and crochet the edge and then tuck the beak under and tack it down. If not, go ahead and tack it down now. But I would suggest adding a nice edge if you know how to crochet an edge. It just keeps it cleaner. And then you want to take your eyes and you want to hot glue them about an inch away from the beak, right up under the ridge. Right up under the ridge, and then you're done. Go to your reference video to get suggestions and help with the eyes and how they're made. And so there you go, you're done. And the reference video will tell you how to enlarge and shrink the pattern. And this is kind of what it looks like on. And that's what it looks like done in wool. And this is what it looks like done in the knitted kind of pattern with beads added. And that's what the crocodile stitch technique done.